today I'm going to talk to you about 4 professional relationships that you want your realtor to have. So we all know that we're in a competitive market right now for buyers. With that being the case, you want to be as competitive as possible, which is why it's important for your realtor who's representing you in your transaction to have these 4 relationships solid, down pat, and in order. The first relationship you want to consider is the relationship your agent has with his or her lender. Now, financing can certainly make or break a deal. I've been in situations where a buyer has been pre-approved and all the way up until a few days before closing has done everything he or she was supposed to do, only to find out that their financing was denied, not to anything that they did wrong, but just something that a lender has done wrong. And this happened recently. So you definitely wouldn't want that to happen to you. Some of the things you want to consider in terms of a relationship between your agent and your lender is their response time to one another. So a lot of lenders don't work non-traditional business hours. So they're Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but after hours they become unavailable, which of course is understandable. And on the weekends they're unavailable, but the reality is real estate is 24/7. So there are plenty of times where on the weekend you may need a pre-approval or you may need something from your lender, and you should want to know when speaking with your agent, hey, when we begin this process, how accessible, how responsive is your lender? Another thing you want to consider is how much knowledge a lender has. So you're not just shopping rates, right? The interest rate is the interest rate. But what you're also shopping is that lender's knowledge, that lender's ability to customize your loan to what you qualify for. So there are all types of programs that buyers can have access to. However, there are different qualifications, and you'll find that not all lenders have the same knowledge about all of the various programs that are available. So with that being said, of course, some lenders are experts, true experts in their field. So you want to make sure the agent or the lender that your agent recommends or partners with or works with is very fast with their response time, very accessible, and very knowledgeable. The second relationship you want to consider is the relationship that your agent has with the title company that will be handling the transaction. Now, the title company, in layman's terms, one of the things they do is kind of stand as a mediator, a referee in between buyer and seller during the transaction, but they also are responsible for performing title work, the title search, making sure that you as the home purchaser are possessing a home free and clear of any title issues, any liens. But the title company and the relationship the title company has with your agent is very important, again, because of the communication. So the best way I can just to illustrate this point is with a story. So I was in a deal, and actually with this particular deal, I was on the listing side, so I was representing the home seller, but we were working with a title company that was not my seller's preferred title company, and we kind of had to pay for it. It was not in our control this particular time because a buyer does get to select. However, what happened is when you're under contract for a home to sell, one of the things that the title company does is order what's called payoffs. So anything that the seller owes, their mortgage, any type of other payoff, then the title company orders those things so they can know who to pay at the end of the deal, the consummation of the deal. Well, this particular title company was delayed in ordering the payoffs. So as we were approaching closing, my seller, the deal couldn't close on time because the title company did not perform or did not order the payoffs in the proper amount of time for us to close. So that's another relationship you have to consider, because as an agent, your agent knows those things. The typical consumer may not be aware of the duties of a title company, so they wouldn't know what timelines to hold a title company accountable to, but your agent would. And if they have a great relationship with the title company, then that reduces the chance of any delays happening while you're under contract. A third relationship that you want to consider: what type of relationship does your agent have with his or her inspector or inspectors? Especially, again, in such a competitive market. So many times when I'm writing an offer, one of the things I have to know even before putting the offer together is how soon we can get a home inspection. I've been in situations where I've submitted offers and the counter came back with, hey, we like your offer, but can you shorten the amount of time for the inspection contingency? So say I put 5 days. A listing agent may come back and say, hey, we like your offer, but we can't really, my seller isn't interested in waiting until 5 days to know if you want to terminate or if you want to make repairs. So are you able to shorten your contingency period to 2 days or 3 days? Well, I'm not able as an agent to answer that question without being able to quickly access and communicate with my inspector to see his availability or her availability to come out and inspect the property. Another thing, an inspector doesn't want to fill his schedule up with tentative inspections. What do I mean? So if I'm writing an offer, it's not a guarantee that I'll have the inspection, because if my buyer doesn't get it, then there's no inspection that needs to take place. So the great thing that I love about my inspector is he will pencil me in as a tentative scheduled inspection. And if we get the house, then boom, we're locked in. If we don't get the house, I can go back to him and say, hey, we'll catch you on the next one, because there will be a next one soon. But that's something that you want to consider. So you want to ask your agent, hey, what home inspectors do you work with, and how soon can they come out if we go into contract? Well, that's another thing you want to consider. Ask your agent which home inspectors they have relationships with. Find out how communicative they are with each other, how responsive the home inspector is, and how available the home inspector is to come out and perform your inspection based on whatever timelines your offer may be inclusive of. Relationship number 4, and this is a really important relationship. You want to ask your agent about his or her relationships with other agents in the field. Here's why I say that. I'll give you another story. So I submitted an offer for a buyer, right? And I learned that it was a competitive situation, which basically means there are other offers on the table. So our offer was accepted, right? Congratulations, hoorah. Come to find out later, there was another offer that was basically very similar to ours, which happens a lot in our market. You get offers and they don't really stand out from one another a lot of the times. They're like neck and neck, and the seller has to have something to go by in order to make a decision on which offer they want to go with. Well, in this particular deal, where my buyer's offer was very similar to another buyer's offer, I found out that it was the professional relationship that I had with this agent. And the funny thing is, I've never personally met this agent face to face. We just happened to work on a previous deal a few months back that went really smooth. My lender, myself, the inspector, the title company, everybody was great. So in making a recommendation to the seller, she was able to use the fact that she had experience with myself and my other professional people in my circle, those relationships, remember, and the deal was smooth. And that's one of the things that the seller considered in choosing my buyer's offer. So to recap, when considering an agent, you also want to consider the lender they work with, title company, inspector, and their professional relationship with other agents. It can make or break your deal. And it's not only for people who are in the market to buy a home. If you're selling your home, you also want to consider those same relationships. Now, a buyer does get to choose which lender they work with, the title company, the inspector. However, keep this in mind. You as a home seller, you'll have an agent, right? They can run everything past the people in their professional network. What do I mean? Say you are selling your home and you get an offer that you have questions about regarding the person's financing. If your agent has a great relationship with his or her lender, then they can take that offer. I know, speaking for me, I'm fortunate to be able to do this. Take the offer and just have my lender just to take a look at it to see if there are any questions. If there's anything on the inspection report that's like kind of off, I can shoot it to my inspector and just get his opinion on it so I can best advise my seller. So buying or selling, when you're using an agent, be sure to consider their professional relationships as you're considering them. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. And if there are any topics or questions that you have that you would like for me to cover, just drop it in the comments.